Hello, OCG community, and happy Easter. Today is a very special day for everyone that is all around being grateful and thankful for the things in your life, whether it's based in your religion or just the celebration of the day. This is a day to look around and really take note of all the wonderful things in your life. So back on March 17th, when the podcast broke 1,000 downloads, I promised that I would give a personal shout out to everyone who actually shared any of my posts since the start of the podcast, because the sharing in different networks has been huge in helping it grow and helping the message spread. So I'd just like to take this time right now to thank my dad, Bernie Drury, Rosemary Cox, Charlie Brenneman, Kresimir Jug, and Mary Liz Lynch, and also Gloria Stephenson and Cindy DeChamp. So those were people I hadn't called out in my actual post that I wrote, but these are all people who have shared the podcast and are working to help me share the message with the world. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. This is a day where, like so many of the recent holidays, it's hard to see the things that I'm thankful for when I think about my mom so much and missing her, and how not having her here is an extremely tough thing, and the holidays tend to bring that to mind. And I'm doing my best to be thankful, to look around at what's good and what I do have, but there is still a noticeable absence in everything, in the normal celebration and the normal way that we would go through this type of holiday. So I just want to thank everyone for listening, thank everyone for sharing, and I wanted to start this short episode by thanking all of you guys for sharing, because it is huge to me, and this podcast has been a massively and monumentally important part of me working through this stage of my life without my mom. So today's episode, I wanted to talk about something that's a quote that I heard recently, and just dig into it a little bit. And I think there are times in life, and I've always firmly believed that the right quote at the right time can change a person's life. And many people might think, well, quotes are just motivation. They come and they go, or they might be fleeting. They might be in one ear and out the other. But I've known many people to live their life by a motto, to have had something passed down by, let's say, a parent or a grandparent, and that motto has carried them through their entire life. It's something that is at the core of their being and at the core of who they are. So the right quote at the right time, the right words in a person's life can be so critically important. And these words don't always come in the clean, polished package on some beautifully made picture that was done in Photoshop with an amazing background and an inspirational quote. Sometimes the greatest knowledge can come from the most basic or simplest things. That was something that my mom was wonderful at, was just taking the simplest things and finding joy in them, or finding lessons in the simplest things and using very simple terms so the lessons were accessible to everyone. Something like simple pleasures are the best was something she always used to say. And the more you look at it, the more you can understand that there is so much truth in that when you see the joy in the little things. So the quote today that I want to share with you guys is, "Accomplishments don't start in reality." And this was from The Mental Edge by Kenneth Baum, which is a book I have not yet read, but this was shared with me by a friend of mine. And when she said it, it was one of those kind of quotes that makes you sit up in your chair and gets your mind working, gets your mind rolling. And I think so often when we're looking at the things that we want to do and the things we want to accomplish, we're looking for proof in the world. We're looking for somebody else who's done it. We're looking for someone around us or in our circle of friends who has accomplished what it is we want to set out to do. Because a lot of times having that social proof or that societal proof gives us confidence. It gives us support. It gives our mind something to say, well, I know that, let's say, Dave did it, and since Dave did it, that means I can too. But very often when you're looking to do something monumental, when you're looking to do something different, that is not the normal path that people are used to following, when you're looking to do something that no one around you has done, none of your friends, none of your family, it can be a daunting task. It can be something that can feel overwhelming. So when you look at your audacious, wonderful, beautiful, crazy goals in life, the thing to consider is that there may not always be proof around you. Anyone who has done anything that has changed the world or changed the society they live in has had to believe in something before there was any evidence of it in the world. Sometimes the biggest accomplishments, the biggest, most monumental changes that occur for a person begin as a concept, as an idea, as a fleeting, flickering thought that just appears in the mind and disappears. And only by bringing that thought out, allowing it to grow and develop, and cultivating it into something wonderful, can you make something absolutely amazing in this world. Now, Lisa Nichols, who's one of my favorite speakers and writers, has a quote about this. And she says, "You're birthing your greatness into the world." And so a lot of I've told this quote to people and they go, okay. And then Lisa follows that up by saying, now, birth isn't always easy. And in fact, it's going to hurt. And there's times where it's really going to hurt. But bringing that gift into the world, that gift to help people, to bring people up, to lift people out of their darkness is so important that it's worth the pain. Bringing that gift out into the world is worth every second of the challenges and the struggles that you have to endure. And if you went through bringing your greatness into the world and it was super easy, you just rolled through it, you walked by, no problem, didn't really have to do anything different, the story is not as good to tell. It's your struggles and your challenges, it's your ups and downs, it's the pits and valleys that are going to make your story beautiful and exciting and interesting and captivating. Because as I've said many times on this podcast before, I've become much more aware of how deeply we're bonded by the difficulties and the struggles in our lives. So when you're able to look at your goal, look at the monumental challenge or the monumental impact that you want to leave on the world and say, okay, I'm ready to do this. You're willing to take steps and remember that the accomplishments don't start in reality, that sometimes to pave and create your own trail, you have to go totally outside what anyone else considers normal or possible. And only in doing this will you ever come into your greatness, birth your greatness into the world, and bring something about that is totally unique in you. So this was a short episode I wanted to do. This is like most of what I do is just something off the top of my head that I feel I can share with you guys to remind you of what's important, to remind myself what's important, because many of the times, I'll be honest, the lessons that I'm sharing are the lessons that I need or that I need the most reminding on. So I hope that today's short episode was beneficial and was helpful for you. I hope that you're all celebrating with your family and friends and loved ones. I unfortunately am not able to celebrate with them, but am thinking about my dad, my brother's wife, and all my extended family, my grandma, all over the place. So I love you guys, and I miss you guys, and I hope to see you very soon. For all the OCG listeners, thank you for listening. As always, please continue to share. Please send me feedback. You can reach me at brian@overcominggraduation.com. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Stitcher. And please join the Overcoming Graduation mailing list, because very shortly I'm going to start sending out emails with new content, new offers, and so much more. So thank you all for listening. I love you guys. And again, one more time, a big shout out to Bernie Drury, Rosemary Cox, Charlie Brenneman, Kresimir Jug, Mary Liz Lynch, Gloria Stephenson, and Cindy DeChamp for sharing and helping me get this message out to the world. And actually also James Peterson on my most recent interview. So thank you guys all for listening. Love you guys. Have a great one.